What's good, Team Irish Dragon? Welcome back in. I've got a little bit of a different one here for you. I'm going to try my hand at making a tier list. I know the Unite community and most people in general love tier lists, so I've got one right here that I decided to do that I think is fun because we've got rumors of a certain thing happening in Pokemon Unite that everybody kind of got up in arms about, but now it seems like it's not going to be as nefarious as we thought. But there's a real chance shiny Pokemon are coming to Pokemon Unite. So, that being said, there's a special spray that you're going to have to buy with gems to make your Pokemon shiny, and I think it's based off a Holoware, so you would put that spray on a Holoware and it makes that Pokemon shiny. Allegedly, that may not be how it works. It may not change your Pokemon to shinies, but if it does, I would like to go through the Pokemon of Pokemon Unite so that we can figure out which ones are worth buying the shiny spray for. Alright, so let's just jump right into this tier list. Let me explain what we got here. We've got S through D tier. We've got the superior to the original tier, the almost perfect tier, the but why tier, can barely see a difference tier, and the does it look any different tier. So, basically, S and A tiers are for incredibly good ones, ones that are better than the originals. The B tier is for ones that I think are not better than the originals. And then we've got ones that are slightly different that I don't think are very good. And then the ones that look basically the same that I probably would not recommend getting the shiny spray for. So, we're going to do it roll by roll, starting with the speedsters here. And start with Absol, which honestly is a really good shiny in my opinion, but it's gonna have to go in the almost perfect tier. I do like the red over the dark blue, but I would have liked to see the white change as well. If it was black and red, I think that would look really awesome. But they kept the white, they just changed the blue to red, which I think looks really good, but I think it could have been just a little bit better. And we've got Gengar. And if you're like, hey, that's not shiny. Yeah, it is. It really is. So it's going in the D tier because it does not look any different in my opinion. Like, it is slightly off on the coloration. That's it. It just looks like it was rendered not as good as the original coloring. And Dodrio. Normally I'm a sucker for a green shiny. But, I mean, it's good. But honestly, I like the original one better. I don't think the bird looks good in green. I really don't. And again, this is my tier list. Feel free to go down in the comments if you think I've misplaced any of these. Let me know how you think. Or if you want to go over to the tiermaker.com, find my account, and make your own tier list and share it with me, that'd be cool too. Alright, up next, we have Leafeon. Again, does it look any different? I think it just looks like slightly darker than normal, I think. It's not that big of a change. Now, Meowscarada, I'm putting in the C tier because it's kind of hard to see on the little sprite, but it does change a little bit here, the flower color and stuff. So it's a little bit different, but not that much. Talonflame, I think is good enough to not be put in the C tier. I like the fact that it's more red. Obviously, guys, I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for red. I don't know if you can tell. Most of my stuff is done in red, but I think almost perfect. Like Talonflame, the red's good, and they made it look like it's more on fire than originally. So I think it's pretty good. Now, Zeraora, man, I think this is better. I don't know what it is. It could be the Power Ranger fan in me that when the Green Ranger turned into the White Ranger, and it looks really cool. It's definitely getting some White Ranger power up vibes here, and I think it's better than the yellow, just personally. Now, and Zoroark, one of my favorite Pokemon to play, I think is going to go up here in the almost perfect tier, only because I don't think it's superior to the original. I really do like this. It's a good color change, but I just don't think it's better than the original Zoroark. Alright, before we jump into the supports, you may have noticed a slight difference in the A tier. I've decided that the almost perfect tier is not a great name for that one, but I don't want to go back and redo the the speedsters because I'm doing this all live and free with my thoughts at the moment. I don't want to try to recreate that. So I've changed it to the a great color change because almost perfect doesn't sound very good. It sounds like I want to change something about them, and the Absol a little bit, but I think that just calling it a great color change is better. So that being said, on to the supports. And before you think C and D tier is bad, this is a little bit different. Not like A is the best and D is the worst. In this one, I think B tier is the bad Pokemon, and C and D are just like, they didn't change enough to really get rated. So that's where we're at here. Now, the supports. And we are starting with a great one. And honestly, the sprite I found on Cerebi.com doesn't really do it justice. But Sableye, a gold shiny, 100% superior to the original. You're telling me that if you put that shiny spray on a Holloware, that a golden Jester Sableye isn't absolutely amazing? S tier for sure. Now, Blissey, D tier. Does it look any different? No. No, it does not. Thank you for asking. I think it's a lighter shade of pink, maybe. It's barely noticeable. I don't think it changed at all, really. Mr. Mime, A tier. Give me the green shoulders, guys. Give me the green shoulder pads. All right? I love playing Mime, and it's high on my list to get shiny. Again, the pink Mons are great, but if you make Mr. Mime green, I'm all about it. And Clefable, it got green tips on its ears. That's about it. So C tier, can barely see a change. Like, you'd notice that, but I'm thinking if you're running around Thea Sky Ruins in the middle of a team fight, are you really going to notice those green tips all that much? Maybe, but I don't think so. Now, Wigglytuff. Much the same as Clefable and Blissey. It seems like they save like their damage dealer Pokemon, even from the mainline games, for like the coolest shinies, really. So supports and defenders, I think, have a little bit less chance of being in the better tiers. I mean, it's a darker pink with green eyes, but it's still a pink mon with a slight change. Same reason as Clefable. Are you going to really notice that in the middle of a fight? Comfey is good. All right, I'm going to put Comfey up here in the A tier for its blue petals. I like that. I think, honestly, that stands out more than the original coloring. I don't think it's superior to the original. I think it's about even, but you may notice Comfey a little bit if you see a random blue leaf Comfey around an enemy than you would otherwise. Eldegoss. Eldegoss. Listen, if you're playing full attack speed Eldegoss and you're the damage dealer LD that some people like to play, then I think you have to get the shiny spray for that. Make that Eldegoss red so that everyone knows it is coming into that match angry and blasting you with A-presses. Hoopa, doesn't he? No question. Don't ask. That's where it goes. It goes S tier. You're telling me Golden Hoopa? Come on now. It is such a good shiny. It just looks like a golden statue. And as the Mischief Pokemon, I think that's great. Because it could just be sitting there, pretending to be a golden statue, and then cause all kinds of mayhem. So yes, a golden Hoopa, and if Hoopa Unbound maintains the shiny, yes, give me giant golden Hoopa, please. So now we're on to the defenders, my favorite role to play in Pokemon Unite. And let's get started with Snorlax. D tier. Does it look any different? It's darker. That's about it. Umbreon. Ooh, Umbreon. I think it's a good enough change that you can see it, and it definitely doesn't deserve to be the Y tier. So I think we're going to put it in the A tier. I do think it's a great color change for the Moonlight Pokemon with the blue rings, though I think I still like the gold rings better. Crustle. Okay, Crustle, poor guy. B tier. But why? Why? He's covered in dirt. He's a crustacean covered in dirt. And this makes it look like he is a very unhealthy crustacean covered in like just toxic waste sludge. I feel bad for his shiny. Blastoise. We'll give Blastoise C tier. Because it's a different shade for sure. It's more purple than blue, but barely. And, oh, again, we have a defender in the B tier, one of my favorites, the Mamoswine. It is an unfortunate shiny. He does not look good. It's a bad green tinge, just like Crustle. It kind of looks sick, kind of like he's molded. It's not a good one, guys. I feel bad for Mamoswine too. But Lapras, oh, Lapras is good. Lapras is A tier. I like the purple. Purple Lapras looks really good. Greedent, D tier. Does it look any different? No. No, it does not. Goodra. Man. Ooh, Goodra. I think it's S tier. I think we got a few S tiers on the defenders for sure. Goodra's one of them. I do think that coloring is better, and it definitely stands out more if you're thinking about it in the middle of a team fight. Slowbro, for the same reason. Give me that purple Slowbro, guys. I think it's better than the original. I like Slowbro. I like the Pinkmon, but for me, that Shelder on its tail coloring is what puts it into the S tier. And honestly, if I'm getting this and the shiny spray works like that, I'm getting the Trevenant one. I think that might be one of my favorite shinies, especially in this game. The Ghost Tree white and red, I think, is far superior to the original coloring. Alright, so now that we're on to the attackers, starting with the Alolan Ninetales, I think is probably C tier. You can barely see a difference. It's a little bit different shade overall with red eyes instead of blue. So it's different, but not that different. However, the Shandy. Oh, Chandelure, get up here. That is a ridiculously good shiny in my opinion. I think it pops more than the blue flames. I know it's a ghost type, and the blue works better with the mysterious ghostiness about him, but man, do I like that fire. Cinderace. Man, I like shiny Cinderace. I think it's A tier. It's a great color change. I don't know that it's better than the original. I think it's about the same. If they would have made it this color and then the normal color was shiny, I think it would work either way. It's a good color change. I think they're both really good. Venusaur. Man, Venusaur. I think this is so much better than original Venusaur. I don't know what it is. I'm not the biggest fan of Venusaur's overall appearance as far as the grass starters go. I like Bulbasaur. Ivysaur is cool. I think this makes Venusaur look a lot better, personally. And Decidueye. Also, S tier Decidueye. I think this color combo really plays on the ghost side of the grass ghost sniper. I think this works way better. I like it a lot more. Miraidon. So yes, we do have the newest Pokemon coming out. Miraidon. I'm going to put in the A tier. I think it's a great color change. I don't necessarily think that it's better. It looks pretty good, but better, not sure. Now, to Cramorant. Listen, Cramorant's a wacky Pokemon, and I think the blue on him makes him not as wacky as this bright orange. I think Cramorant is an S tier shiny for sure. If you like playing Cramorant, then I would recommend, if you were getting a shiny spray that turns your Pokemon shiny, Cramorant's pretty freaking good, and that will pop so much on the map. Delphox. Man. Okay, the attackers are crazy. The attackers are crazy. I'm worried my S tier is going to get a little too big. I may have to split them, but I'm not going to go through that much trouble. Look. Delphox. You know what? Thinking about it, it's a great color change. It really is. Is it superior to the original? I'm not sure. It's good. It's good. And again, same thing like Cinderace. If this was the normal color and the normal was the shiny one, I think they're both good. Better, I don't think either one's better than the other. So A tier for that one. Glaceon, D tier. Does not look any different at all. Dragapult. Dragapult. I think we put it in it's C tier. Like, yeah, there's not a lot of coloring on Dragapult, and they changed, I think, the only thing they could change without me thinking that it was but Y tier. So it's not terrible. It's a good change, but barely. Duraludon. Now this one is gonna kind of contradict what I said there. Okay, honestly, I'm putting Duraludon in the S tier. And yes, you're like, but it barely, you can barely tell it's the same colors. But the sheen they put on those colors, it makes it look more metal. It makes it look like the Steel Dragon. I think this should have been the original coloring rather than the shiny. It's better. It's just better. Sylveon, A tier. No question there. Is it better than the original coloring? I don't think it's better. I think they're both really good. Inteleon. Inteleon. I gotta put it in the but Y tier. He's supposed to be a hidden sniper, and I think this coloring would just make it stand out. And I know it's got camouflage that makes it almost invisible, but I don't know what it is. I don't really care for the coloring on this one. I prefer the original, hands down. Pikachu, D tier. Sorry, you're much darker yellow, but you're still just a yellow mouse. Greninja, S tier. It is a ninja, and it is a full black ninja frog. Far superior to blue. Maybe that's what it is. I don't care as much for blue. I really don't like blue all that much, but I think that if we're talking ninja frogs, this one's better. Guardy. You know what? It is. I just don't like blue. I know Sylveon I said was good. Maybe it's just this shade of blue. I'm putting it in the B tier. Guardy, Y. Green all day. Green Guardy all day. This light blue, it just doesn't do it for me. However, then we have Mew. I'm contradicting myself all over the place. I think Mew is A tier. Is it better than Pink Mew? No, it's not. And maybe it's just because it's Mew and it's special. But it goes in the A tier. Mewtwo. I'm putting it in the A tier for a very specific reason. And that's because I spent a long time on Soul Silver soft resetting for that stupid green tail. So it has nostalgic value to me. A great color change for Mewtwo. Espeon. Oh, a great color change. It's bright green. Like I said before, normally green shinies I'm a sucker for. Is it better than original Espeon? No, I don't think it's better, but I do really like it. Now we're on to the all-rounders. And if you're like, well, you put Mewtwo as the attacker, which means Mewtwo Y. Well, I'm not going to do two Mewtwo's because they're the same. And when they Mega Evolve, the shiny is the same, just a green tail. So you get one Mewtwo in this tier list. But we're going to start with Aegislash. Job S tier. I don't even have to think about that one. Fight me in the comments if you don't think that that's better than original Aegislash. That color scheme is so freaking awesome. Azu. Oh. Yeah, I don't like blue. That's what it is. It's better. Give me bright yellow Azumarill. Imagine that thing running at you and whacking you with its bright yellow tail. Yeah, it's better. S tier. Blaziken. D tier. Does not look any different. Sorry, buddy. They could have done really cool things. It's got really good color combinations, and they could have done cool stuff and made it different colors, but it's the same. Buzzwole. This one's tough. For me, it's got to be A tier. I think it's a great color change. I prefer original Buzzwole coloring, but that green is so freaking good. And hear me out. I prefer the muscle build. The muscle build's better. But if you like the bug build, then I think S tier, because this makes it look way more bug-like. Now, if they buff the bug build and it gets ridiculously good in some way, then yeah, definitely get that. But for me, it's A tier. It's a really good one. It's just not better for me. Charizard S tier, without question. Don't even say anything. The black Charizard is such a legendary shiny for me. I have been playing since Pokemon Red. Charmander was my first starter, first Pokemon I ever trained, and I spent years trying to get a shiny Charmander. It's S tier, no freaking question. Dragonite. Man, I I honestly don't know if this is a good color change or not. I think but why? It's a similar shade to these three. It looks sick. I don't know. It's a bad vomity green that just doesn't do justice to the first pseudo legendary dragon. And look, Phalanx, one of the newest Pokemon that hasn't hit Unite yet, is coming. I've got to put it in the B tier for a very, very specific reason. But why? I think it's good. Honestly, I do. But when you look at Phalanx, you see a group of like Roman warriors, like Spartans. Their shields up, ready to defend themselves and attack the enemy through their shields. But when you see this color scheme, it just looks like a tan, blonde-headed surfer dude, just a group of surfer dudes. Their shields are now surfboards, in my opinion. I mean, it's good. It's a good color change. But it just looks like a bunch of, like, frat boys hanging out as opposed to Spartans charging at you. I'm sorry. It's hilarious to me. But why? The blonde hair. I know it's a helmet, okay, but it looks like a blonde mohawk. All right, I can't. And the little shield circles now look like just big glasses on some frat dudes. I'm sorry. It's hilarious, but why? Garchomp, D tier. Again, they're not doing justice to the pseudo legendary dragons. I don't think. He's the same. Gyarados. Red Gyarados gets grandfathered into the S tier. I don't care how you feel about blue versus red Gyarados. When you found that thing in the Lake of Rage, it was the coolest thing Pokemon had done till that time. Lucario. S tier. Come on. E-Speed Lucario shooting around the big team fight as a bright ray of sunlight just obliterating you. Yeah, and by the way, notice I said obliterating you. Like, yeah, that's how I'm going to feel if any shiny Lucarios out there, because I don't play Lucario, and it's definitely going to be me at the other end of the shiny Lucario sunlight streaks. Machamp is A tier. It's a great color change. See the difference? That's a good green. These are good greens, guys. These guys here, good greens. These, bad greens. This is good. And why is this a great color change? Because it looks like Machamp is now some form of Incredible Hulk. He's been radiated with gamma rays, and he's now stronger than ever. So yes, a great color change. Metagross, S tier. We don't even have to talk about that one, right? You can let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong, but I think this is way better than the original coloring for Metagross. Mimikyu. I don't think it's better, but I think it's an A tier shiny, because Mimikyu's story, if you've ever read the Pokédex entry or know anything about him, it's a very sad story. And I think that this coloring it makes him look dingier, dirtier, and it just really goes with that sad nobody wants me around vibe But don't worry, Mimikyu. I want you around. I'm definitely not going to get this shiny because it does make me sadder about Mimikyu, and I absolutely love Mimikyu. I like Mimikyu more than Pikachu. There, I said it. Scizor, a great color change. Again, good green. The good green makes a Pokemon pop. These are bad. Bad greens. Good greens. A great color change. Better than red? No, not better than red, but really good. Scyther, can barely see a difference. C tier. It's got some red in the wings and the legs now, and it's nice. It's not bad. I'm not gonna ask about why, but it's just not enough. Serena, A tier. Great color change. Better than the original? Hard to tell. I don't think it's better. I think they're about the same. A tier. Good change. Titar. They do not do justice to their pseudo-legendaries, except for Metagross, apparently. Titar. I'm putting it C tier. It does change a little bit. It's not as bad as Garchomp here, but you can barely tell. Urshifu, A tier. Great color change. I really enjoy it. The red over the yellow is very nice, and if they had different colorings when Kubfu evolved and it was just, One Punch Urshifu was red and the Surging Strikes was the yellow, I think that would work out pretty well. So I like the red. It's a great color change. Zacian, B tier. But why? It makes it look more bland, in my opinion. Does not stand out very well. It looks way better the other way, and this one is just not good. It's just not good, guys. 1. So there you have it. The Irish Dragon Gaming best to worst shinies for the Pokemon in Pokemon Unite. And this may have been all for nothing. We think this is how the shiny spray works. If it doesn't actually turn them to their shiny form and it just makes them like glitter on the map, then definitely don't waste money on that. But if it does this, I think this is a really good way to determine which shinies you may want to spend real money on to get. You can't go wrong with really most of them. The S tier ones, I think, like I said, are absolutely amazing. A tier, if you get any of those, it's going to look really cool on the Pokemon Unite map. I'm going to say Thea Sky Ruins, even though I'm still hoping for a new map to come soon. C and D, I don't think you waste money on those. Like I said, it's not noticeable enough to consider spending money on. Except the Dragapult. Now that I've been talking about it and thinking about it and looking at it more, I think Dragapult gets bumped up to the A tier. It really is a great color change. I like the yellow wings. It will look really cool, even though it currently is spending most of its time invisible. But if you're running Dragon Dance and it's flying in circles, I think the yellow will look really cool. And if you spend money on the Y tier, I mean, Inteleon looks cool. I think it wouldn't be terrible. And like I said, Phalanx is really good. To me strikes me as this guy is spending way more time on the beach than on a battlefield. That's all it is. Other than that, this is my tier list. If you think I've misplaced anything, feel free to let me know in the comments. And if I have placed a shiny that you really, really like lower than you think it should, sorry, not trying to hurt anybody's feelings here. This is not facts on what are the absolute best shinies, and if you think otherwise, then you're a dum-dum. No, this is just my opinion on the shinies for the Pokemon in Pokemon Unite. So if you enjoyed that, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep living the dream.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top. Yo!